So friends, I had mentioned in the group that I wanted to share from my experience. And I actually recapitulating how the last year was. I had shared here in Sangha. But before I really share here with everybody, I'm going to share a story because we are going to also talk about this topic. In the SanghAha, which we do here every month, we take up a particular topic. And so that everybody gets to contemplate on that, we get to clarify our thoughts, we throw light on this topic. तो ये जो story है, once upon a time, a young boy went to a master and he said that I want to get enlightened. And this master said, have you ever loved anybody? And this person said, no, I have not got into any of these worldly things. I don't want any of this. I just want to get enlightened. And the master said, I understand. I understand that you want to get enlightened, that you really want to experience that. But can you just answer my question? Have you experienced love? Have you loved anybody? And he said, नहीं, I told you, मैं ये सब चक्करों में पढ़ा ही नहीं और मुझे पढ़ना ही नहीं है. आप मुझे बस enlightenment का बात दो, बस मुझे enlighten करा दो. And the master said कि कुछ तो होगा, कोई तो होगा. किसी से तो प्यार किया होगा, माँ से, बाप से, भाई बहन से, anybody that you've loved. And he said, I just told you I don't want all of this. मुझे सिर्फ परमात्मा चाहिए, मुझे सिर्फ enlightenment चाहिए. And the master was really disappointed. He really looked down and he said that, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. Because if you have not experienced love, if you have not been able to love one person, then you can't really love the divine. Right? You can't get the divine. So many times earlier, especially, it has happened that we feel that, okay, now I just don't want all of these small things, these worldly things, but that is what I want. But this master was saying, if you've not loved one person, if you've not experienced love, then you can't really experience the divine. Because in love, we are uniting with one person. But in love, we are actually experiencing unity with the entire creation. So ये वाली story, obviously we know, and we've probably been kind of, all of us are into some relationships. But बहुत बार जो है, हम जिस तरह से love experience करते हैं, वो refined नहीं होता है, वो एक blind love होता है. एक बच्चा जिस तरह से प्यार करता है, वो एक blind love होता है. उसके लिए the parents are gods. And everything is about the parents. And our journey is actually going from blind love to enlightened love. तो जो ये person बोल रहा था, that I don't want to get into all of this. There is a misconception. We also understand about spirituality from a limited thinking. कि मुझे experience ही नहीं करना है, मुझे ये सब चाहिए ही नहीं, मुझे सिर्फ divine चाहिए. Now when we deny this and we want that, it can't really happen. The experience of love that each of us have is really the door to experiencing love with the divine, love of the divine, love in the truest form. So we have to first embrace, we have to first see हम किस तरह से प्यार करते हैं, what is the blind love. I said that every child actually loves in a blind way. And I want to share my experience about it. So in the last couple of years, doing a lot of the healing work, I realized actually I had a lot of resistance of coming into the healing field. So I learned Reiki when I was studying homeopathy, when I was in the first year of medicine. And I always kind of did not want to practice it. I did it on myself. But it would be situations at home. घर पे कोई बीमार पड़ गया, and then obviously I would practice Reiki. So I got into healing work. A lot of the embracing of that happened either to work on myself or then immediately family members. Of course, homeopathy is something that I knew I always wanted to do, but anything connected to the energy, somewhere I still had a lot of resistance. And it was somewhere I realized as I was actually progressing on this, learning more and more modalities, that somewhere The attitude that I had was a very protector kind of an attitude. A lot of you are have been there in the previous SanghAhas or some workshops, and I have shared that my parents lost two kids before I was born. So when I was a young child, I knew I'm the first child. But later, as I got into these healing, the inner child and family constellation, जो समझ में आया, जो ध्यान में आया, that two kids had died before me. So subconsciously, the child in me was actually so angry with God. How could you do this to my parents? How could you do this with my family? And the feeling that I had was that I'm going to protect my family. I'm going to now, you cannot now do anything to my family. I'm going to be standing there like a wall. Now, this is a very, now when I look at it, obviously it's a very child's way of thinking, as if I'm somebody to challenge God. But, in my own small mind, the child in me was challenging God. That how dare you do this, and how karke to dikhao ab. And this actually came up. I'd asked once Dr. Newton for a session, and it came up as I was just speaking. I realized that this anger was there in me at that point in time. So every time my parents would fall ill, somewhere a very protective energy would stand there. It's like, जैसे मेरे अंदर रानी झांसी जाग जाती थी, रानी लक्ष्मीबाई जाग जाती थी कि I have to now, get them out of it. And the healer in me actually would awaken, trying to protect them. But also, I realized later, so once I remember my father was unwell, and I was like, I have to do things for him and I will heal him. And what happened is that I only got a neck issue. So I was then on bed rest for 15 days. So, as much as this child really wanted to do, but obviously it was not in the child's place, it was too much for the child in me. This is about 7 years back that this happened, or maybe even more. After I actually learned family constellation and came into this, I became aware of how I'm taking this protector's role. Friends, each of us, when we love our parents, like I said, that the love is like a blind love. We need to become aware of how we are actually loving them blindly, what kind of role we may have taken. Each child may take on certain roles, may think, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my mother happy. I'm going to give all the happiness to my mother. Every child wants to do that. But as we take on this, it's too much for a child. And somewhere we realize that it's not in the capacity of the child. So as I was working on this, I was obviously, stepping down from that stance, taking the place of just a child. Last year, in the beginning of the year, I became aware that still there is this subconscious fear. It felt like now that I'm doing all this work, now God will definitely not do anything to my family. How did I become aware of this? I was in SCTP, and it happened that one person there, he was attending, and he lost his father. So the announcement was made that, let's pray for this person. And this subconscious thought, I mean, I just kind of read my thought. This thought came into my mind, oh my God, he's here. And again, this happened to my father. Now I'm doing this work. I hope nothing happens to my family. And that's when I became aware of how, in very, very subtle ways, it is still there. I obviously started working on that. And what happened was, I realized that this fear that was there of my parents, something happening to my parents, the last year was about facing that fear. My father actually
Hi.
fell ill in
Okay.
so for a couple of months we went through that.
What do you want to show, Auntie?
Friends, if you can all keep yourself muted, because it is going to disturb everybody. Shalaka, if you can mute everybody else, yeah. And in November, my mother fell ill. She went through a bypass surgery. So this entire journey through the last year, I was actually, it was really, outside I was doing whatever was needed to do. But inside there was this test. And I was really constantly serving them, doing what I need to do, largely doing it from a space of being a child, and a doctor, of course, in the family. But consciously, unconsciously, if ever I was again stepping into that, I was becoming aware of it and coming back to really being a child and recognizing that I'm not the protector for the family. I can't be doing this, and I'm no longer at any fight. This was a very, very beautiful experience. In fact, my mother's this experience of going through the surgery, she went through a bypass, and the entire journey for herself as well as for me was very, very healing. Of course, it did not only kind of, help her in physical ways, but I think a lot of energetic shift, the way things happened, we could really see, the best things just came into us. We just reached the best doctor. And the best thing was that the night that she came out of the operation theater and she was in the ICU, in the morning, I get a call from one of our SanghAha members. And in the ICU, one of our Sangha members, she's Dr. Usha, and my mother's name is also Usha Kurana. So in the ICU, this Dr. Usha was there as a senior physiotherapist. So the first patient that she saw that morning was my mother, and she said, "Oh my God, this is Auntie. I have partnered with her." So they both have been partners in workshops in more than one exercises, and she immediately recognized her and she called me that, "Oh, your mother is here, you are here." And that kind of just eased off everything. It was so much um, deep ease that we all experienced because we knew that, she was taken care of in such beautiful ways. So it was almost like, how they say that when you are going through a challenging time, the challenges are given, you're facing your darkest fears, but that is the time also the divine is actually carrying you through. And my mother actually described, she's always been, telling everybody about this, that this experience was like I was being just carried, everything was, every step, things were just given to me on a platter. So that was the attitude that she went through this with. And it was an extremely beautiful experience for me. So Bert Hellinger, who was actually the father of family constellation, once I remember Dr. Newton sharing with us that Dr. Newton was in one of the gatherings with him. And he asked, this was a gathering of all constellators, and Bert Hellinger asked, "How many of you have been able to take your parents into your heart? And what percentage, how much have you been able to take them into your heart?" Now, when he says that, friends, what is taking them into the heart? That we are becoming children. We are not, it's not blind love, yet we are accepting them as they are. We are able to take the strength from them. So this family constellation work is really, the purpose is two, that one is that we are able to disentangle with them. We are able to separate from them in a healthy way, not in a loyal way, not blind love, in a healthy separation happens. That is the first aim. And the second is that we are able to connect with the true ancestral strength. And that happens when you take your rightful place. For example, if I am just the child, I'm not being the protector, only then can I actually connect with their strength. When I was taking this healer stance, when I was telling them, okay, I have to do this, I have to get them out of this, I was really not being the child. So I can't really tap into the blessings and strength that we are able to connect from the family, from the ancestors. So these are the two things. And Bert Hellinger asked in this crowd, to what percentage are you able to take your parents into your heart? And many, many healers said, oh, 100%, I've been able to do that. I've healed my relationship with my parents. And after everybody gave the answer, Bert Hellinger says, I have been able to take my father only about 80% into my heart. And my mother, about, he said something 90+%. And Dr. Newton is sharing this with us. And he said, he's so humble. He's such a humble master. We don't become like, okay, because I'm a healer, because I'm doing this work, I have arrived there. He is the person who's actually brought this work, and he's actually being so honest. He's saying, after being in this work, after just, day in and day out breathing this work, he's saying, this much I'm able to take my mother into my heart. So this is an ongoing work. We tend to fall back into these patterns again and again. And it is really the awareness, it is really deep work, and we need to be humble. So one of the other things that I thought I'll share with you is the body never lies. That time when I thought I had, probably I was okay and I had healed and now I'm able to do that, my body gave me the indication when I fell ill, right? The body never lies. So this time, the whole experience was so beautiful that at the end of the 15 days of living there in the hospital with mummy, and in between, I also did a workshop. I was actually feeling just so healthy. I actually felt like, yes, I could do what I needed to for my mother, but I really did that. I was actually, getting so much blessings. I was connecting with her love, and I was actually feeling more energized at the end of it. So I wanted to share this experience with you. And if there's any questions, friends, so today I'll guide us, all of us, into a meditation where we will connect with our parents, and we will try to just drop any roles. If you're becoming aware of any role that you may have unconsciously taken, we recognize that and you can actually drop that. And in case you're not able to do that, you can just connect with them. You can just take them into your heart, but just being a child to them. Okay. So that's the meditation that we will do. And in case anybody wants to share anything or ask any questions, we can take a couple of minutes to do that.
Hello, ma'am. I would like to discuss one thing. Before, yes, my mother passing away all of a sudden had a big kind of void or impact on my mental strength and everything. You helped me to heal and accept the situations, or shown a way that I have to walk through that. So it took a time. I understood it and then went away. And then a month back, exactly a month back, my uncle, who was very close to me, had went for work, and he came into home, and I found that something is wrong. I said, you are not right. Then he said, I went through the accident and my hand is paining. Because I'm a doctor, I have seen and said, it's a fracture, let's go to doctor. And then because I you said now the protector role of a child thinks that we have to protect our parents, or we have to protect some of our loved ones, that we are the healers like that. And I took him to the hospital, I examined everything, and then doctor also examined. And then yes, it's a fracture, and the painful journey started. And then yesterday we went to the doctor, everything healed, but in the time period I was also healing myself, and I was sending him metta, and I was constantly being the strong head in myself, and was telling, that kind of positivity I am giving to him. Everything went well. Today also, when he was doing exercise or physiotherapy, I'm consciously saying, I'm a kid, I'm not a protector or anything. I don't know why I was just saying, I'm a kid, let me help him if he asked me, not like, okay, I can do, okay, I guessed it out. So this was the thing in our journey. I have learned that your role is your role, so don't surpass that to become something where you miss out the actual help of giving to your loved ones. Like if I become the protector, I cannot help them as a child. So I should be a child first to help them if they need me as a child. So this I have learned from you, ma'am. So I want to share that people subconsciously thinks uh, in a different ways. The roles are not named off. Like I don't know what role I have taken for them to protect them. So many people don't know consciously. So in this meditation also, many can find out and get healed as I did. So, welcome for all. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Hello,
you. Yes.
hello, hello.
Hello. Yes. That
हेलो मैडम, आई एम चंद्रशेखर स्पीकिंग।
जी बताइए चंद्र।
मैडम सुन पा रहे हैं आप?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
हाँ मैडम, बहुत दिन के बाद देखा आपको। तो बेसिकली मैडम, आई हैड एलोबरेटेड इन माय अपना जो पर्सनल सेशन था बॉम्बे में, पिछले साल आया था मैं। हेलो,
हाँ
हेलो।
जी। Yes, yes, I can hear
हाँ
you.
मैडम, द सेम ट्रबल इज स्टिल कंटिन्यूइंग एंड द यानी बोलना ये है कि क्या है ना, डिवाइन एनर्जीज बहुत वर्क हो रहा है। यानी ऐसा रिलेशन जो मैंने बोला था वो यहाँ पे नहीं बोलूंगा, लेकिन समवेयर वो डिवाइन एनर्जी बहुत वर्क हो रहा है। और क्या हो रहा है मैडम, ऐसा लग रहा है कि बहुत ये नेगेटिव एनर्जी बोलते हैं ना, ब्लैक वर्ल्ड, और बहुत ही डिवाइन एनर्जीज एक साथ काम कर रहे हैं वो रिलेशन में। तो नौबत ये आ गई है कि कुछ समय के लिए चीजें बहुत ही यानी डिवाइन दिखते हैं, और कुछ चीजें वो सेम आदमी के लिए कुछ यानी फॉर सम टाइम आई सी थिंग्स वेरी वर्किंग वेरी नेगेटिवली। और आई मुझे 100% ऐसा लगता है कि कुछ तो नेगेटिव वर्ल्ड है, ब्लैक वर्ल्ड है, वर्क कर रहा है। और ऐसे भी लगता है कि कुछ डिवाइन एनर्जीज भी वर्क कर रहे हैं। नॉर्मल कुछ नहीं लग रहा है मैडम। बोलना यह है कि नॉर्मल जो है इस वर्ल्ड का ऐसा कुछ लगता ही नहीं है। एंड यानी ट्रस्ट जो है वो ब्रेक भी हो रहा है और बिल्ड भी हो रहा है, डिवाइन एनर्जीज की वजह से बिल्ड भी हो रहा है और ब्रेक भी हो रहा है नेगेटिव यानी इसकी वजह से। पता नहीं।
चंद्र जी, आपका जो जैसे हमारा कंटिन्यू हम नहीं कर पाए थे, तो अभी यहाँ पर हम ग्रुप में इसके बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे, है ना, बिकॉज दिस इज अ लिटिल आउट ऑफ दैट एंड वी विल नीड टू गो अ लिटिल इन डिटेल। तो मैं आपसे अलग से फिर बात करूंगी ताकि हम सबका टाइम इसमें नहीं लेंगे, है ना। तो पर ये जो
आप
जो आपका
सेंड
इशू है वो एग्जैक्टली जो हम बात कर रहे हैं उसके उससे कनेक्टेड नहीं है, ठीक है। सो वी विल लेटर।
ओके ओके ओके,
थैंक
थैंक
यू।
यू।
Friends, how many of us are able to recognize some role that we have taken? Or maybe some, as a child, हमने सोचा, this is what I want to do for my mother. This is what. So we've taken some kind of, such roles. How many of us are able to recognize that? Pushpa, Ankit, Lavinia, wonderful. बाकी लोग, चेतना, थैंक यू। बाकी लोगों की कैमरास बंद हैं, आई कांट सी देम। So I'm assuming के okay, yes, quite a few of us. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Shailaja ji, yes.
Yes,
Deepak, yes. I can see cameras coming on. Are we all ready to take ourselves away from that role? I can share so many case studies of how children have almost sacrificed themselves, or they were sacrificing and they have, when they came out of it, how their lives have changed. And it has not only changed, it can change. जब हम ये family constellation का काम करते हैं, things can change for 7 generations ahead of you and behind you. So this is a beautiful beautiful work, and we really, because जो बच्चा है उसको लगता है अगर मैं नहीं करूँगा तो कैसे होगा. If I'm not going to, if I'm going to, like I felt, if I'm going to leave the fort, I don't know what will happen. Right? क्या बर्बादी हो जाएगी. ऐसा मुझे लगता है कि मैंने आके संभाला है सारा कुछ. It was too much for a child. It's really not the child's burden to carry. Right? So we need to recognize this is too much self-importance. बच्चा बहुत, अब obviously वो बच्चा बच्चा था, but जब हम बड़े में हम क्यों नहीं छोड़ पाते? Because there is a lot of self-importance to that. We think we've become a big healer now, or I've become this person, I'm really going to do this, और हमारे बिना नहीं होगा. So we have to really take our rightful place. And one of the things, one of the beautiful sutras that Bert Hellinger says is, everybody has a right to their own destiny. If our parents are experiencing something, The child may experience a lot of pain seeing that, but the child cannot take away their pain. We need to honor that it's their destiny to experience that. So we need to be the child. Okay? So with this, we will start the meditation, my dear friends. Let's take a comfortable posture. चश्मा निकाल लेंगे. Your eyes closed. Take a couple of long and deep breaths. Bring your attention to your breath. Your breath, which is always in this present moment. Your breath, which helps you connect to the wise part in you. Let yourself be with the breath, watching the natural incoming breath and outgoing breath. In the here and now, let yourself start going deeper within yourself with your breath. Riding the wave of the breath. Completely present to your own self. The breath connects the body, mind, and the spirit. Taking this time to be with the breath, going within. Allowing yourself to go deeper, beyond the body, beyond the mind, thoughts. Totally present to your own self. Getting connected to the spirit, which is beyond the body, beyond the mind. Just by riding the wave of the breath. Nothing else to do. Nowhere to go. Just in. Know your true self, which is beyond this body. Witness the body, witness the thoughts. Allow yourself to notice this aspect which is watching, which is witnessing, is the true self. When you are in the here and now, you are connected to the divine within. You are the divine, you are the soul. Be in the here and now. And as this spirit, this soul, we come here into this body because of two people, our mother and our father. Be aware of the soul aspect within you. Be aware that you are this spirit. And allow yourself to now visualize your parents, see your parents. And as you're visualizing them, you are connecting to the child part of you. You're becoming the child in front of them. Allow yourself to start taking the form of the child. It may happen that you just start feeling like one, or it may start happening that you're getting a visual, you're moving back in time and going back to a particular age. Trust whatever happens for you naturally. Allow yourself to become the child to them. When we are a child, we are not aware of the spiritual aspect of ours. We only know ourselves from how they see us. They are the gods for us. Allow yourself to become aware of how you are feeling. When you see your parents, your father and your mother, what are you seeing in their eyes? What do you sense? Do you see them fighting? Do you see pain in the eyes of your mother or father? Do you see them struggling through something? It may happen that things are coming to awareness which you were not aware of before. Allow that. And as a child, as you're seeing this, what is the role that you took? What is it that you thought in your mind? Become aware of it. Allow yourself to become aware of how the child in you loved your parents. How this blind love has been operating in your life. How have you been sabotaging your own health, your own happiness, your own joys? Feel what you're feeling, if any sensations are there in the body, or if any emotions are coming up, acknowledge them. Let yourself feel them. And now that you are an adult, can you bring this understanding that everybody has a right to their own destiny? Your mother and father, each one has chosen certain challenges. And are you ready to acknowledge and honor their destiny? Can you love them just as they are? Can you accept their destiny? Can you honor their destiny? And can you give yourself the permission to be different? Give yourself the permission to do that. Feel how that would feel. Allow yourself to see if you allowed this blind love to change to enlightened love. How would you be? How would you be when you know that they are supported, they are taken care of by the same divine energy? And by their parents, they're supported by their parents. And you need to just be the child then. Osho says one birth has been given to you by your parents. The other birth is what you have to give yourself. Gather the courage. I love you just the way you are. But I can be different from you. Take them into your heart space, accepting them as they are. Taking them into your heart, connect to the strength that you get from your parents, your ancestors. If you're visualizing them, you can now visualize that you're turning your back towards them. Let them have your back. Know that their strength, their support is there. As a child, you can't change their life, you can't change their destiny. You can serve them, but only as a child. Can you look at life which is ahead of you? Feeling that strength, tapping into that strength that comes to you from them. Just another minute. Be with this. Feeling their strength, taking them into your heart. Ten, nine, eight. Carrying this strength within you, taking them into your heart. Slowly getting ready to come back. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Rubbing your palms together, covering your eyes, slowly come back. Wonderful, my dear friends. Welcome back. If you're taking a little time, even that's okay. If you just need to be there in the silence, allow that. Such beautiful energy I could sense with so many of you. Beautiful friends. Anybody feels like sharing anything or asking anything? We will stick to this topic only, we will not go out of this. Yes, Nilimati.
Yeah, thank you for such a beautiful session. But one thing was he in starting I could hear, and after that I couldn't hear anything. I don't know.
That's okay. You were with the process. I could see that.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Mridul.
Ma'am, good evening. Ma'am, I just wanted to ask you one question. How is it that we realize that we are moving from a caregiving role to a protector role? Because if I think that as if when I'm as a child, maybe say 8 or 10 years old, and our parents are falling sick, so that time the child is helpless, cannot do much. But for example, now in a stage that we are in, where we have much more power to do for our parents. Uh, so everything that we do is from the space that we have the capacity to do it. But it is still you feel that as a child you're doing everything. So I wanted to understand, where is it that in this role you feel that you're crossing the boundary from a caregiving to a protector?
I think one is non-acceptance that this is happening, right? कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. We are not ready to accept that this is how it is. So many times we are really, like I realized in my case was I was almost fighting the divine. And a lot of the times this actually comes up when you start watching your own thoughts. Many times we are very attached to our own thought. If I'm feeling this is right. Right? So we feel I am right and everything else is wrong. Now, the big step, of course, comes with meditation, which is we start becoming an observer. The most stupid person is the one who believes all their thoughts. Right? We need to really look at our thoughts. What is it that we are, right? And then when we are talking or when we are thinking, we are observing our thoughts. That is where this awareness will come. So, for example, when I shared my own case, Mridul, that this thought came in me. I had never shared it with anybody at all. But I just became aware that, in a sense, I'm bargaining with God. Earlier I was angry with God, and now I'm almost like trying to make a deal. Okay, I'm going to do this, and we now, do this. So it was in that stage that, I was still there. Another healer I can share with you, she was doing a session with me, and she saw how many deaths. She was doing a FC, we were doing it with figurines. And every ancestor she saw, like who had died, she said, okay, I told her that you have to just acknowledge that this happened. And she would say, yes, I see, I take that it was your destiny. Now you can go to light. So with every ancestor, she was almost like commanding them, you can go to light, you can go to light. I said, you're not really doing this. Now again, you're taking the stance of a healer here, where you're saying you can go, like it's almost like I'm the commander. Now, sometimes you will need to be in the driver's seat, but there is a very subtle difference. And just when you check on yourself, darling, you'll be able to see that. Not fighting. The big key there, like I told you, one is take signals from your body. Secondly, acknowledge and accept that it's their destiny. You can serve them, but you cannot bring them. You cannot fight their destiny. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Darvinia.
Namaste, Dr. Preeti. It was a beautiful meditation, kyunki it was very difficult for me. I have a question about, I'm going to say accepting or receiving, because I had my parents in front of me and it felt like I was communicating outwards. And if like almost like energy or words or whatever was coming back to me, I wouldn't just it's almost like there was a wall, but I couldn't see a wall, but certainly a block on my end which I could sense. And then I felt very stiff, and then I stepped back and I didn't really even want to be there anymore. So any thoughts?
Just the realization that you're resisting some part of them. You don't want to be like them, or maybe you're kind of rejecting them. So just be with that. This is a good diagnostic meditation then for you. Right?
Okay.
You've realized, okay, this is there. Now just work on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Dhanyavad. Friends, we are having the family constellation workshop this month here in Mumbai on 17th and 18th. And I know a few of you have already done. If anybody would like to repeat, or anybody new, if your family member, your friends, anybody you think it would be beneficial, we would be very happy. You can refer them. They can join the workshop. It's a beautiful work. And like I said, every time we go into a field, we go into the, new things just are there, very, very subtle aspects. So beautiful opportunities that we never want to miss. Anybody else wants to share? Darvinia hand were raised and one more person's hand was raised. That's what it told me. Darvinia plus one more. So nobody else had raised the hand, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ankit. Thank you, Zubin. Wonderful. Thank you, friends, for joining. See you soon again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
You. Bye-bye.